Live and direct. Is that
so literally these guys have just jumped off the plane and it's podcast time, isn't it?
I know. We've got to go professionals.
I know, but it is. It's like
it's the job.
Instantly now.
Right.
You don't get a chance to be like, oh, we'll put out a podcast next week.
I know. The people expect it. They want to know what's going on, and they want to know what's going on with you.
Yep.
So normally we talk about other people's fights, but
this week it's all
this is it now. So we caught a couple of your a little bit of your interview today on the way in. Some of the stuff you were saying on Twitter, so you would say it as well. 20th fight in the UFC.
Yep.
That's huge. That's a massive, never mind.
It's a huge milestone.
Never mind how many guys,
have received 20 fights.
How many guys get signed to UFCs? Small. How many guys do 20 fights? Small.
I know.
It's no many.
So
there's a few big ones for you. Again, setting records, and back at the PI back at the Apex, co-main event, and again, your old mate fucking Gilbert Burns main event, which is quite cool. Have you seen him?
I've not seen him. I've seen he's been training, so I think he's maybe going to come. He's maybe just got here. If he's going to come, I don't imagine he came out early.
No, he wouldn't.
I guess being in one of the things that I always find hard coming here is you can probably hear it in my nose. See where things get aircon. We don't have that back home.
I'm the same, did it?
So it literally just dries out your passageways, and you end up sounding like this. But it's not it's not an effect on my cardiovascular, because we've been into the gym, we've done loads of pad sessions, loads of grappling. Aye, feeling good, man.
It's a bit cooler here now than it normally is when we come as well. I feel like it's a bit more.
How was your flight in?
Easy peasy.
Well,
easy.
See, when we were coming in, there's been over the weekend, there was a massive windstorm hit through. I'm talking
turbulence.
I'm talking that.
There was a wee bit landed, eh?
I'm talking I'm like, this thing must be in the side at some point. I was like, I'm not the best flyer. I don't like it.
It did a wee kind of, and I heard everybody sort of, oh!
Aye. We bit of fear keeps you alive.
Aye. It's good though.
So I decided to go and upgrade and went for the first class. Thought this will be a great option.
Stretch your legs.
I know, getting the bed, getting the nice food. But on the flight, there was a stag party. Hilarious. All the boys had came from Scotland, so they were from Glasgow. Turns out, we're in the queue and we get talking after it, but just before it, the guy whose stag it was the boys had got him gutted, right? And he was sitting in first class. So I'm in there, he's in front of me, right? And he can see he's just like a shadow of himself.
It's not even started yet.
I know, the boys have fucking ripped the piss out of it. They gave him these big gold shoes and he's having to walk about. So anyway, I get talking to him and I hear there's a bit of commotion up when you get headphones on. And I'm like,
all right.
Try to hear. And turns out the head of the cabin, that class came up to him and was like, listen, any more of this and we'll have to redirect the plane. I know you've had a lot to drink, but if you can kind of go to sleep, sober up, or we'll have to land the plane. And the guy went, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it to come across like that. So I was like, So then I go to the toilet. It's maybe coming to the last part. And I get talking to the guy, and the guy's like, oh, you fighting this weekend? Aye. And his mate, who was massive, turns out he's a massive boxing guy, had a couple of titles as a Scottish guy, Scottish titles. Mm-hmm. And I get talking to him, and I was like, hey, what happened? Why are they fucking going to redirect you? He made some sort of comment to the stewardess about being shit at her job. but you know that way it would be as if you're having a bit of banter. He meant it to, in his head, he meant it to be banter. But his audio was inhibited by alcohol. It was like, bleh, bleh, bleh. So anyway, the woman took huge offence to it, right? And that's why the guy came over. But I was just a nosy bastard.
I like to find out what they've been up to. Everyone was fucking getting guys' numbers and everything on the flight today.
Was she?
Aye.
Was she a smoke show?
She was no bad, aye.
Did you get a number?
I didn't. But I saw there was a lot of
Did you
guys.
say, listen, we've got an apartment, we can turn this fucking rape into a murder.
She came up and tried to talk to me a bit, but obviously I was like, listen to me. I'm taking.
Aye.
Do one. Be gone, peasant.
So I think that flight they jump on, they get to spend a few days. So they get off the flight, yep.
Well, I think that's because it was a group of 4 guys or something, and she got talking to them.
Aye.
I think they were maybe what you was up to, and
meet up later and stretch it out.
Yes.
Pretty much, aye.
Like
That's
back
where it's heading.
That's how it used to be before
Mate, it's the
social
desert.
media.
It's the desert right there.
What else is there today?
Yep.
Even the Uber driver, like,
It gets a little bit wild, you know. You sometimes somebody dies, you know. You just run them out to the desert, dig a hole, you're fucking all gravy.
that's what they bought the Uber driver. He was even like, so what's the girls like? You ever been to Amsterdam? We're like, I've been to Amsterdam. What's the girls like there? Like, aye, they're right. Like, you ever been to, where was it? You wanted to go Riga?
Estonia.
Aye.
Estonia.
He was like, what's the girls like there?
What kind of...
He was I would have said a Hispanic guy, came from LA, moved here from LA. Everybody, that's the
Had
thing.
his like fucking
Had his
shirt button all the way up here, but opened up down here.
He had his rosaries hanging for the rear view
Part of the
mirror.
Clancy family, was he?
They've been attending mass regularly, I hope.
No, the two of them have just been absolutely tyrants to each other. Like, they're not getting each other in a minute.
That's what happens when it's the
Like
big brother.
it's hilarious. Like, I would love to have that sort of relationship, to have like this, because it's almost like a friendship. And the two of them, like, we were sitting last night and we were just talking about like techniques, and we're running through. We were listening to Jack Slack, and he's like, and the two of them are up fucking shadow boxing. They're like, aye, we're doing this and doing that. And then we all go for a wee lie down and a wee rest, and all of a sudden, like, I hear them at the back just blasting pads. And there it is, like 8 o'clock at night, and the two of the boys are out fucking.
Oh, you're a
smashing
fucker. So we're in the gym last week. You must have already been over. Were you already away? Anyway, I saw Sean, he's rolling with Stephen, and there was a dead wasp by the window.
Aye,
The
it
cunt's
was-
picked up the wasp and tried to sting
I
him.
know. To Jimmy, isn't it?
I was
Jimmy,
like, what the
I think that was. I think we were getting ready to go. I think that was the Friday morning.
You were maybe
so that'd
getting
been the
medicals done or something.
Thursday night.
Aye.
And he was telling me, he was like, the fucking big bastard was chasing Stephen.
I was
about,
like,
trying to sting him with a deed wasp.
No,
That's what I mean. Like, having that in the gym, it's only going to make you better. Having that bounce back. But if you turn your back on Stephen, he's fucking all over you. He's just like.
they're good for morale. Like, I'm actually looking forward to seeing them. Like I say, we've just pulled up. You're the only one in, just having a wee relax. I know.
So it's, what day is it? Wednesday afternoon. We did all the media this morning. Lee, the nutritionist, is away to the gym because you want to get swole, man. Like, see, every time he takes his t-shirt off, you're like, fucking hell, mate.
He's got that sleeper build, eh? You didn't know that? Till you see him with no top on, and you're like...
And then the Clancys and Kieran Reid are away to Couture MMA to do...
Setting about cunts.
Pretty much. But they were in training at the PI, so the PI runs some of these classes. Like Cody Garbrandt's coach runs classes in the PI
I didn't
at
know
10
that.
o'clock.
Right.
And Sean and Stephen are away in and done the damage, like absolutely going. Like, I'm talking like Stephen was going with grown men. He was going with the PFL champ and his own weight and fucking getting 3 rounds with him and holding his own. So these, like, this is a confidence boost for these guys who are getting in against, because us as guys from the UK and Scotland, we're like, we're not as good as the Americans, are we?
This is something I think about all the time, that crabs in the bucket thing. Like, we did grow up in a country where it's no good to stand out.
Mm-hmm.
That is like, I feel like that's a very Scottish thing. Standing out's not a good thing. But you have to be able to go and, where is your evidence for proof that your training is working? And it's done in sparring. So if they're going to...
But it's also done against each other.
Aye.
It's still a safe space. But
Because I'm
going
familiar with it, for sure.
Going to another gym
Aye.
or going to a place like the UFC in Vegas and going with these guys, that's where your skills are tested.
Well, again, like, obviously it's bad manners to name specific names, but there's going to be guys in there who are big names and they're going to go, I'm not letting this young guy just come in here and put him. I might just decide to punch him about, and they're not in a position where they're able to do it. Like, when you go to other gyms and spar, a lot of times you're having a fight. You're quite close to a fight.
It is. It's as close as you can get.
Aye, I didn't like to say that because I don't want people to think like...
When you go to an enemy's gym, but it ultimately is.
But it does feel
if it's
that
not
way.
your gym, then you're going to have to put on a good performance.
Sure.
And especially if you come with a name to yourself. If you have like UFC, Cage Warriors, PFL, guys are going to come for you. And guys want to make a name for themselves and tell these stories where, remember that time I sparred with fucking such and such and I fucking smoked him?
Aye. And that goes on as well. It's true, aye. And especially for like them coming over here into these guys. Remember, the PI is these guys' gym.
Yep.
Like it's their home gym. They're here every day. So like that would be the same as somebody coming into higher level and just being like, I'll go with you and I'll punch you about. Like, it's quite, and also being 18-year-old with a permed mullet.
I know. So we went in there and like Stephen's obviously a young guy, right? So he's never really been around this. His first time's in the PI. and he's like blown away. He's like, I'm going to have to control myself. So it was like 𝗟𝗘𝗔𝗧𝗛𝗘𝗥'𝗗 was like, yo man, how's it going? Love the hair. Cody Garbrandt was the same, and then fucking what's his name? Marab was there, and he's like,
what was he?
Marab just come in and you're like, just himself, and I expected him. I'm like, what are you expecting? He's just a normal guy.
Just a guy like everyone, a guy with an interesting job.
I expect him to fill the place. I'm like, no, just all these guys are doing their own thing.
Hey man, this is. I say this all the time. I use the same example. They're just normal guys with an interesting job. Like their wife moans at them for fucking no putting dishes away. Their kids are doing like. I got off the plane, turned on my Wi-Fi in the airport, and straight away it's my son. And my fucking English teacher's giving me shit about this, and I'm just like, ugh. Like it's the same. It's the same for me as it's the same for you, as it's the same for insert famous person. Like
well, for me, it was like I was sitting signing the UFC cards, and my partner messages me. She's like, "Listen, Maya's fell out a tree." Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's all right though. I've laughed
fell out a tree.
I've laughed at it.
She's bust her leg open, and I'm like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" But it is these normal things. We all have normal life.
Aye, and that's what.
And it's just how high you put them in that pedestal. Do you think John Jones isn't dealing with kids getting skint knees or all that kind of stuff?
Never falling out with his wife, he got fucking chucked out by his...
Is this the gum shield as well?
Oh mate, you wouldn't believe. Poor Craig.
Did you forget this?
No, I didn't forget
the
it.
complete opposite.
I check my bag for it every 5 minutes, mate.
So this,
I felt like Frodo carrying the one,
the one ring. So this, so I had a wee bit of work done in my teeth, and I know you're thinking, Paul, they look the same. You're right, they do, but I needed a new gum shield, and the guys at Funky Gums always come through and they gave me a. Can you see that in there? They gave me this turtle, because I'm a huge turtle fan.
Oh, very nice wee personal touch inside.
And then in the inside, I always put the. So originally, when I done my very first gum shield, I put my kid's name inside it because that's who we fight for. Right. But my original gum shield used to have their date of birth and Roman numerals, which are. But aye, thank you, Craig, for fucking looking after the.
I like those wee.
Those wee personal things.
It was Lee's colleague. Is it Danny?
Yes.
We were talking about mouth tape, and he went, mouth tape, and I don't know. I went, don't know what. He was like, there's not a lot of evidence. And he's like, it's placebo, really. And I'm like, mate, I put a picture of my kids in my left glove, and I believe it makes me punch harder, mate. Mm-hmm. I'm like, and I was like, superstitions help. And he went, do you know what? You're right. It's a big part of it. It's a huge. It's,
and there is
the ritual.
You spoke about like the fighters look for like signs.
Like,
oh, this is a sign. This must be a sign because it just gives you power basically.
High,
like a higher power. And it's not saying that I'm like fucking hanging about the Clancys and we're all fucking Jesus up together.
We're all getting baptised at the pool at the back.
Like Sean's just baptising everybody.
But no, it's important. These things are important. Having. So you said a good one. I think you've almost put your own back against the wall. Well, we go all the way back to we had heard you saying in the interview, the UFC are very ruthless. Mm-hmm. You feel like this is a must win. Yep. Obviously, every fight's a must win, but you must win this, or your job might be in danger.
Yep.
Those are your words, no mine. But you do your best work when your back's against the wall. Are you intentionally putting your back against the wall?
I think
to drag the best out of yourself.
I think when there's that added pressure, like I imagine going for a title, there's added pressure. You don't feel under pressure.
You don't look under pressure. Like you're doing the things you always do. Your weight's really good. We were just chatting about your weight before. Everything's on point. Lee's away. They're now getting sorted with like everything's running exactly as it should. So maybe because things are running so smoothly, you've had to add in pressure.
No, I think it's always there. Definitely, like when you look at the couple of guys that have been released from the UFC in the last few days, never mind the last month, the UFC have such a high turnover on fighters, and that's the same as like because they have the Dana White's Contender Series, they have this influx of fighters, and they can just keep filtering these guys in. And if they're not good enough, what do? See you later. And that's being brutally honest. 20 fights in the UFC is nothing to be sniffed at.
No.
I genuinely believe a victory tonight and rack up a few more, a victory on Saturday night, rack up a few more wins, and I'm in the title. Like there's people talking about, well, Paul Craig has that only loss. Paul Craig has that only win over Ankalaev, the only person to do it. And regardless, if you get a submission in the first minute, is that lucky? No.
It's well drilled.
If you get a submission in the last second, it doesn't matter when it is. It's all about, and people can say, well, was Conor McGregor's punch lucky? No, because he trained it.
Well drilled.
We train hard, and you've got 15 minutes, and if you can't stop the man in 15 minutes, then you're not the best.
So you said I don't know, was it on the podcast or was it just us chatting casually? You went, you have got to be perfect for 15 minutes because the second you make a mistake, boom, I'm on you.
Yep.
So what's the difference between the opponent making that mistake in the first 30 seconds or 𝗟𝗘𝗏 making that mistake in the last 10 seconds?
Yep.
It's exactly the same. The mistake was still made. Jose Aldo made his mistake in 10 seconds and that was just charging and lean forward as he do. 𝗟𝗘𝗏 made his mistake in the last 10 seconds. Jamal Hill made his mistake because that was your submission of...
Or with under about 2 minutes.
Krylov as well. Krylov's submission came from him making an error, boom, and being jumped on.
Most of these like finishes will come from somebody making a mistake. I should have went left, I've went right.
It's too late.
That's what's happened.
It's and the
I've rushed in and boom, you're connected with this backhand.
And that annoys me, that lucky, like, it was a lucky Hail Mary. Like, it's no a Hail Mary. Like, you're still hitting.
Like, see if I had no jiu-jitsu. Like, I was a jiu-jitsu guy, right? And they're like, oh my God, Paul, who has never subbed them days, never trained jiu-jitsu, nailed a armbar submission. Then, don't get me wrong. That's he got lucky there.
That is lucky. Or you decided to throw a mad jumping knee all of a sudden. And
like, there's no such thing as luck in this sport.
I didn't believe
it. It comes down to how hard you train.
Especially with what, and again, I didn't want to lean too much over on it, but the specific things that you've been drilling in the lead up to this fight, I'm absolutely certain we're going to see that shown on Saturday. Craig was asking about it on the plane and I was like, it's so hard to explain unless you see it anyway.
And feel it as well. It's not just It's not just about see it because it's not the things that you can see that I'm doing. It's about
100%.
It's about what you're feeling.
And that Kieran making the good points, going, now show me where you can go. I can't. Exactly. Like it's the old, that funnel in. Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm looking forward to seeing, again, evolution in the game of your jiu-jitsu. And like you said as well, if you stop learning, if you stop evolving, then you don't really.
I don't want to be here. That's it. The minute you, because I was speaking about it in some of the interviews on the day, and they're like, how do you compare yourself to past versions of yourself? And I'm like, see, as long as I feel like I'm getting better, then I'm going to keep going. The day I'm like, you know what? I'm not getting better. Do you think I'm not hanging with these young kids.
Do you think, so take away them, the young kids, do you think there's ever been a better version of you than there is today? This is the best.
This is the best version. Experience, skill set. And it's not like I'm like, oh, my jiu-jitsu is perfect. It's not. No. So what I do is I look at areas where I'm like, right, this is where I'm a little bit lacking. And it's, we do the same with striking. If you struggle with a position, then you drill it. So we do the same with jiu-jitsu. And just because I'm a black belt and just because I've done jiu-jitsu for a whole period of time, doesn't mean I know it all. I'm still learning.
I like that you said that on the last one, talking about improving your jiu-jitsu. Like you could easily have went, no, I'm really good at I'm good enough at this. But the fact that you still went to these extra lengths to go, no, I want this even better. I want this nailed down. Like I want this perfect.
And it's having PTs in jiu-jitsu. Like, not a lot of people would be like, well, I get PTs in jiu-jitsu. I get PTs with guys who I look up to in the world of jiu-jitsu because I want them to improve my game. And working with guys like Kieran Reid, who is definitely a student of the art.
For sure.
He loves
a scholar, almost. Like
and we talk about these things and I'm like, you're right.
The detail that he went into on very specific positions, I was at a couple of times, I was just like, fucking hell, this is getting away from me. Because he's getting so intricate.
And it's not as if you don't know jiu-jitsu. You've been doing jiu-jitsu for how long?
Has 10 years anyway.
Like, I get it if you're talking to him and he's like, I'm doing the and you're like, well, I've never done jiu-jitsu, so I don't really know any of these terminologies.
Well, he used a name for a sweep and I went, and then showed it and I went, all right, and I called it a different, so again, I didn't know
what was it, the John Wayne sweep in it he's using? So the guy I'm fighting, Adolfo Balato, uses a very good half guard sweep.
Yeah.
So what you normally do in these situations is we go under the head, which we call like an overhook, because we overhook the head and it goes round the back. And we sort of clasp our hands and pin chest to chest, with your leg trapped inside his. And what he's doing is he's doing this nice, it's either called a John Wayne sweep, the giggler.
And the giggler, and I was like, what the fuck is the giggler?
But it's
like,
a nice
I don't know
sweep.
what that is.
And it's like, basically you tilt your hips, and it's like a tipping point.
Knees together.
Once you get to a point of, you're controlling his weight, he's going to go.
Aye.
So,
but it was funny because as soon as he went knees together, I was like, all right, aye.
You know what that is. And it's like the terminology changes so much.
Course.
Like when you think about the vaporizer, like
Aye.
the vaporizer is just a calf slicer. It's just a cool name. Or like we go banana
Electric
split,
chair
or electric
and-
chair.
aye,
It's the
there's
same.
so many.
There's so many different terminologies.
It's sometimes I think maybe we've got away from, especially MMA grappling, and we've been on this subject loads recently because this American wrestling, and I see a lot of other MMA sort of. I see MMA Guru jumping on it, talking about it now. I see a couple of other sort of guys who are big in the social media space talking about MMA Jiu-Jitsu, but this American wrestling style hasn't evolved. But Jiu-Jitsu and grappling, especially with
Nickel.
but Bilal losing at the weekend.
Yes.
So he was kind of better Jiu-Jitsu and better MMA grappling has evolved through, and that's why his original base probably wasn't as good. Now, I don't think that he's a bad MMA grappler. I think he's good. I don't think he's.
You just think the game's changed.
I just think it's just going.
The game in Jiu-Jitsu changes, and I'm talking like 6 months.
Aye.
6 months, somebody's doing something, and it's like everybody's doing heel hooks. So then we get the defence for it, and then people go, right, now people are threatening the heel hook, going to this position, and then it was like a backside 50-50, and they were going to like these like backside positions. And then now people are like, no, we don't go that way, we go this way. So it's going to keep evolving.
It's just that, like, again, I don't want to say too much stuff. But I said to Craig, I think we're probably like a year to 18 months away for some of the stuff we've been going over, the material we've been going over, translating into other gyms. You won't see other gyms teaching this. That's it. Again, like, I'm really excited. Normally I'm very, very nervous, but I didn't, like, I feel mega nervous when I feel nervous when Sean Clancy fights. I feel nervous when Stephen Clancy fights. I'm nervous when you fight, but I don't know, there is a nice, a healthy confidence around this weekend. I
think you need to, I think there's a lot of things that are happening in my career where it's like, right, let's go for it. Let's go for it.
I like that too.
Like, this is it. You want to keep doing this as a job, then fucking get your thing with your ass and go and put a performance on to the old 𝗟𝗘𝗔𝗧.
Do you feel a finish is necessary? It's a question, and I've asked. I feel weird asking you this because I ask so many people this. But
I look at his last performance and he goes to the judges and he gets the draw against Jimmy Crute, and I don't want that for myself. I don't want to be like, Paul, you should have done more, because we've seen that with Bo Nickel. You should have done more. Could I have won that fight? Did Bo Nickel beat me?
No, I don't.
He didn't. Who beat Paul? Paul beat Paul. Paul didn't do enough. If Paul had went out with the same intent that 𝗟𝗘𝗔𝗧 had, then we would have had a different story. But that's that loser's mark where it's like, shoulda, woulda, coulda. I could have done this. See, if I did do this, or I would have done this, I would have won that fight. Well, see if I didn't get knocked out against Khalil Roundtree, I would have won that fight. Would you have, Paul? Aye, like, that's what losers would say. I could have been a fucking world level footballer if I didn't get that bad knee injury. I could have been an Olympic swimmer if I could learn to swim.
Has the 𝗟𝗘𝗔𝗧 Bo Nickel thing bothered you at all?
No, it's definitely not bothered me, because I think...
Or has it done the opposite and maybe booted you up the arse?
That sort of chapter's done in middleweight. It's now looking at, like, what can we do at light heavyweight? What can I do with the guys that are in front of me? Rather than being like, I should have done this.
This is such a waste of time looking back.
I wish I had. We don't get a chance to do what we do. We do what's in front of us.
And that's the thing, like, all that can do is bring you down. We're out here in the sun, in Las Vegas. Like, life couldn't. Your 20th fight in the UFC, co-main in the. There's so many positives. Looking back can only add a negative and start pulling that down. And why would we want to start pulling it down? We're in the best place in the world.
We're in the fight capital. What did you think of JDM at the weekend? Because we've obviously not spoke about this. This is the first time. I thought he was impressive.
I thought he was great, mate.
I thought his boxing, his head movement, his control of Bilal was impressive. And not taking away from Bilal, because I think Bilal had a very good representation of himself. His boxing looked good, but where Bilal was maybe throwing these shots, and I think the actual numbers were in favour of Bilal. He'd thrown more shots, but I do believe
I
JDM.
felt like JDM did the cleaner work.
Yes.
But do you think?
He looked good, man.
Do you think Bilal got bullied into
Stand
moving
up.
away from his style because he didn't even get an interview after the fight? Like, do you think they were just like, Bilal fight? The pressure got to Bilal and he was like, right, I'm going to have to
stand up and
just
be
go. Aye,
get the fans on board, because
Aye.
there's so many things out there that must play on his mind.
Got to.
Where like the commission don't know who he is and asking him who he is. That like.
Security
This guy's a
did-
champion,
I know,
aye.
didn't he,
Security
like,
as
the
well.
cage?
Did you see there was someone on ESPN that was posting like, the wee ticker tapes at the bottom, and it said Pereira versus JDM, because they know that he didn't put his name on properly. They just had made a mistake, and all these kind of things would make you like, right, I need to put on a performance.
and he didn't get shorts.
Aye,
He
everybody
didn't
else
get the
gets shorts.
shorts. Like, it's just. Aye, maybe at some point he does.
And he's like,
just
right,
go
I
like,
need to stand.
"Fucking hell."
I need to stand and go into a war with this guy so that I can build my stock. Because let's be honest, the vast majority of guys who have great stock within the UFC have a very good stand-up game.
And they take heavy risks. But did you see?
Why do we like Max Holloway?
Because he's fucking.
Because he stands in the pocket and we
Points.
get some bum 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 bum.
Aye.
And it doesn't matter if he's fighting Taporia, where he was getting lit up and he's still moving and he's still looking to throw shots.
Aye.
But on that breath, what did we get? We get some good news coming out from obviously the transition from Bilal losing his title. What are we going to get?
So Islam Makhachev moves up.
Yep. What happens to his title?
It's vacant, not double champ, which is quite surprising.
But I think it's just to mix things up.
Aye.
And I think it's so
Charles Topuria.
yeah, and I think it's so that the UFC have to put on so many events. They're contractually obliged with TV promotions, and
Is it 12 title fights a year?
yes. So if you're taking out and you're saying like, well, Islam's a double champ, so we're not going to have him fighting
know.
again. So it makes sense if we no strap him, but he passes it.
And again, like, because he is an Islamic fighter, can he fight during Ramadan? It's a big portion of the year where he actually
Yeah.
can. It's like you're only realistically at best going to get 2 title defences a year right here.
Ross, here's the question I want to know. By the end of this year, how many Islamic champions do you think we're going to be? Are we just going to have like this massive lull within the like halfway through the year where it's like
Aye.
we don't see any champions?
I know, no title fights because
Aye.
it's Ramadan.
Because we've got 𝗟𝗘𝗏𝗧.
Aye. Well, Pereira's saying he's not fighting him, or is he? Because he's saying his Twitter got hacked.
Oh.
So they wanted Pereira to come and fight 𝗟𝗘𝗏𝗏 at 3:17.
Is
that
this
right?
International Fight Week?
For the main event? This is Pereira. Can you fucking bail us out again, bro? Because like, no, like you've done it enough times. Because John Jones just is fucking us about out in Thailand, mad on the gear. Seen any of these videos?
Yes, I'm on the back of that bike.
Mate, it
That's
just looks
fucked
so
up, man.
bad.
I
man.
know.
Like, listen,
I was watching something with, and it was the old. Remember the old rivalry with him and DC?
Yes.
And he's like, people are booing me. People are booing me. I'm the good guy. This
know.
guy runs over pregnant women. This guy
know.
takes drugs. This guy's been suspended.
fails drug tests.
And he's like, why are you booing me?
I know, it's true. And then that was when there was the Break Bones t-shirts, and then they won the fight. It was like everyone who bought a Break Bones t-shirt, take it back, you fucking idiots. And that, like, he's been a really bad guy over the years.
But for some reason, we buy into him, and
we all love a fuck up.
because his skill is through the roof.
Aye,
And the
he's-
same again, if we seen Conor McGregor coming back and then the next year puts on a couple of performances, knocks people out, we get old Conor McGregor, guess what happens to the fans?
I know.
He
They
jumped
all-
right back in that
Aye.
bandwagon.
I
be
always
like,
loved them. Always loved them.
he's always
That's-
my favourite fight. I don't
I
care
know.
that he raped a woman, allegedly, or that he...
Takes the cocaine
Yes.
allegedly. Or,
So-
you know, punches old guys and boozers. Like, all this stuff can so easily get overlooked. It's, aye.
And you've got a guy like Daniel Cormier,
Who's just like
all-American wrestler, goes to the Olympics.
captain of the football team,
Aye.
coaches kids wrestling, mate.
we're like-
He coaches a kids wrestling team.
We're like, fuck this guy.
Aye,
We don't like
aye.
this guy.
You piece of shit.
Aye.
Fried chicken advert.
Aye, mate. Like, I know, it's so weird, eh? Why do we pick people like him? But
What, did you watch any other fights? Did you watch Shevchenko?
I did, aye.
I stopped watching Shevchenko.
Aye.
I was like, no, don't get me wrong. I woke up at 5 o'clock and it was maybe like 4:30, needing a piss, and I put on the UFC because I started watching it. Originally, I was watching it with the boys, and then went, "Fuck this shit! I'll lay in my bed, man."
Fuck this shit.
So I'm watching Shevchenko, and it's like the replay I'm watching. I'm like, I'm not watching this. I'm just skipping. So I didn't watch that. But I think that's a good thing because now that Shevchenko has won, that means they're going to get a Wang Leiji, and we'll have that as a title fight.
That was bang on there, by the way.
I think you swapped the W and the Z.
Wang Leiji, Weiji Wang.
I think it's Zhang and you say Wang.
Wang.
The young lady from China.
Zhang Weili. Yes. So they're going to fight.
That's good.
And the good thing is the fact that, I'm not saying it's a good thing because the Hingy lost, the Brazilian girl used to be the champ. Grasso lost. So then that kind of mixes up that division. So it's not going to be, because if we had Grasso win, Shevchenko win, then we're like, let's do that again. Because what else can we do? So I'm glad that this has worked out in Shevchenko's favour and she gets that fight, which will be brilliant.
Were you sad for Jose Aldo?
Aye, but I kind of liked... That fight was brilliant.
It was brilliant, mate.
That was the fans. The fans enjoyed that.
Aye.
Jose Aldo kind of blew his load. He get excited. He seen the finish.
But
he just got a massive raging hard on, tried to fucking finish him, and then was like...
See, up until he basically like just tried to hold position and no get elbowed.
Stall.
I had him winning the fight.
Aye.
I was like, they're going to give him this. See, just finishing that third round with big cuts on his head and stuff.
I know
like that.
it's not.
I think it made a close fight easy for the judges to give against him.
Aye,
and
because you could see it was negative. It was negative for him. He wanted out there, and I think it was close to being stopped.
Maybe at one point, aye.
But no, I enjoyed that fight. It was cool seeing George St. Pierre in his corner.
I know, that was wild, eh? What was his name? It is Zahabi, eh?
He's
Faraz Zahabi's brother. Yes.
Wow.
And he's been out for like 6 years. So he makes a comeback, gets to fight Jose Aldo in Canada. That's cool, man.
That's a big...
Like, we like that kind of stuff.
That's a big ask, eh?
Any other fights in that, Craig?
Benoit steamrolling some
Canadian boy, the Canadian boy that got pulled in last minute. Aye.
Subbed him. I bet on him to KO, so that was the coup fucked right off the bat.
I didn't bother watching any of the other fights. We also had PFL Ireland, where a few of the guys were fighting on as well. Some good performances.
Good win for Gemma Olds, eh?
Gemma Olds' comeback was a beautiful one.
I'm not going to say it, but about the positional work against the cage.
Beautiful.
I just spoke about like
beautiful.
That type of stuff, the not rushing that submission attack, making sure that leg riding position is all...
Did you see when Gemma got her in that position and took her down, did you see her just shaking her head being like, fuck this? Because she was winning and she was doing some really good damage standing up.
And she obviously couldn't move her.
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I'm in this position.
But going into that position, again, there is only the one way out of it and you get fucking hurt. Like, you can only turn
you can escape, but...
It's going to cost you.
It's going to hurt you. But the elbows Gemma always was giving were beautiful. And it's this new, obviously,
And PFL are allowing it. So for people who don't know, PFL never used to let you elbow.
And now it's changed the game. We watched Mark Goons as well. We were all in here and it was just like, see when that happened, we were like, it's difficult to watch one of your teammates who you know, like, the skill that kid has and the ability and it no being his night. And we could see that for his opponent, like after the fight, having that altercation when the two of them are arguing in front of each other. Or like the commission in that should have stepped in there a lot sooner. Mark's obviously lost the fight. He's taking a headshot and the commissioner allowing that to run. I think that's out of order. And it just shows you how much that meant to that guy to beat Mark, because Mark was the next thing. He was to go through Mark. But this is MMA, and sometimes
it just doesn't go like that. Those glancing shots are nasty.
I know.
Small glove, glance to the temple. Before you know it, everything's spinning, and somebody's on top of it. I thought the ref was quick to stop it, but I wasn't there. I'm not looking, doing it.
I know.
I've not spoke to Mark since. Maybe he was. Who's it?
Hi guys.
All right, boys, we're just doing a wee podcast. You want to come in? It's Kieran Reid and the Clancy fucking Cramp Twins.
Guys, whether you're wanting to update your old drab wardrobe and get some new training kit, whether it's suffering from injuries, you know where myself and Ross would go, and it's Anaconda. And right now they've got some good deals on in Ross. Hit the deals up.
You can get any two braces for $59. Mix and match them, whatever ones you want. Knee, shoulder, wrist, elbow. They've also got 10% off at checkout if you put in leather 10. If you are a Patreon for our podcast, you get free next day UK delivery, and there is next day delivery for everyone in the UK now as well.
Brilliant. You know, Anaconda is a brand we have been pushing for a long time, and we push it because we genuinely believe it helps guys like yourselves who are struggling with injuries to get back to full 100% training. Don't suffer in silence. Get Anaconda. Ross, where can you hit them up? Where can you get that website?
It's anaconda.fightwear.co.
Link is also in the bio. Keep it Anaconda.
For people who don't know, this is Sean Clancy Jr., who I'm massively aware you'll know who it is. This is Sean Clancy's brother, Stephen Clancy.
You been on a podcast before? It's your first time?
This is your first time on the podcast.
Go on.
18, and he's an amateur with a fantastic record, and he's gone up against some men today, am I right? You were lucky enough to go to the UFC.
Big names? Obviously don't say who they are, but...
LFA World Champion.
Aye.
Give a wee blast.
The LFA World Champion, and then just a 3-0 professional, but he had like a 11-2 amateur record, so it's
Great,
great.
isn't it? So what's your record?
I'm 7-0.
7-0. So as an amateur and going up against grown men in their hometown.
And the PI.
Aye, that's
and it was like
jet lagged the fuck.
jet lag, man. I was like, aye. Aljamain Sterling was sitting watching the rounds as well, so like it was the first round I think I had, and it was a class round, and I came off and sat at the side, and Aljamain Sterling walked up to me and just handed me my water, and then sat next to me. And I was like, what is going on here, man? I was wild.
It's quality.
But I had some really solid rounds in it. It's such a confidence boost as well to like go in there with guys like that and compete, not just get smoked, like actually compete and win rounds against them was
You were
really
saying
good.
that you always not doubt yourself, but you always think like we're just Scottish. We don't have the big gyms. We don't have these super gyms like Vegas have. We don't have these coaches who we look up to, but we do. We've got one of the best gyms in the country, in the world, and it just shows that you can go to any gym in the world and represent a higher level and be like, hey, confidence. So tell us, what was the wrestling class you just were at Couture MMA?
Is that what you did? No, wrestling?
Wrestling.
Like American style or?
It was American style. It was very fried. It's something that we're obviously not very used to. It was something that we're not obviously very used to, but it was fine. We took to it quick. They kept trying to snatch my feet and stuff like that.
Like that?
Aye, that mad weird style, but I've not got boots on, so I was literally just jumping in there and they just couldn't get me. So I was saying, it was good. There was definitely good rounds and stuff.
Some big names?
Nah, not today. They said we can come. Well, I've got sparring with the pro welterweight and up team tomorrow, so that'll be good. There'll probably be some decent names there, and I think we're both heading to the Friday AM session, which there'll be some decent names there as well.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so it was good. It was very good.
And then, so I just experiencing you were on the mat today with some big names.
Yeah, it was 2 big sessions. It was 2 good sessions today.
Aye, like
2 very big
having
sessions.
the opportunity to have this in your doorstep, and you said that a few times. Stephen, you've been
110%.
like, it's great out here, isn't it? It's amazing to live here.
It's brilliant.
Could you see yourself out here?
Oh, well, like when I get to the UFC, I'd definitely like, get an apartment and maybe come out for after like fights and stuff like that. Don't know if I can live here because how warm it is, man.
It's so warm. That's the big
I think
thing.
we need to see with the fact that the gyms out here have so many guys in it. I think you just become another number. And
Yeah.
if you're not bringing in the big bucks, you just become a body
I
for
was gonna
somebody
say
else.
that.
Whereas when we're back home, you're one of the boys. You're the core part of the team, and I think that's got a massive thing to do with your development.
I've spoken about that before. It's like, I think that's one of the big things. That's kind of where I derive confidence from whenever I'm going to places like this, because you see, it's like the PI, it's a big PI, it's Extreme Couture and stuff like that, but these guys are like, there's so many big names, you know what I'm saying, and you know for a fact they're not getting the same kind of quality of attention as we're getting off of James. So it's a different kind of thing. Like, you obviously get the big names that you get to spar with and stuff like that day in, day out, but we've got some great quality guys. And on top of that, we're getting the attention off of our head coach constantly, which they won't be getting.
Who,
of course not.
Within the world of MMA, anybody who I've ever spoke to has always spoke very highly of James. He's a well sought after coach in the world of mixed martial arts, and I had no idea that he was. I think I've told this story where I was down with Michael Bisping's striking coach, and he's like, you know what, I can hook you up with a guy if you're looking to improve your striking. His name's James Doolan, and I was like, well, I've actually just started training there, and he's like, listen, Paul, it's only going to make you better. He's one of the best. Now that's that's a guy who's a world champion and countless other fighters. So he's well respected, and if he's giving you the attention, then it's
Absolutely.
there.
He ended up getting us into Extreme Couture the day. Like, so they just let us in, didn't need to pay. We were just like, oh, Eric sorted it. So we were sitting having a conversation with Eric, obviously, so that we could get in. Because I don't think they wouldn't just let anybody in.
No, definitely
so he's obviously put in a wee word for us.
Obviously, he's not here at the moment. He's a very man, the private man likes his own company. Yeah. But the last time you were on, it was leading into Cage Warriors, and you've literally headlined Cage Warriors Glasgow.
Yeah.
You put on a performance.
Thank you very much.
Any word of what's happening next week?
I've not, but my manager sent me a very ominous text regarding an American visa. So
they're talking about this kind of stuff, having stuff put in place in case these opportunities come
exactly.
up.
So
perfect, man.
It'll be looking good. I'm waiting on Burlington. I'm obviously the next one in line for the belt, so I need to wait. I think Burlington's got about 3 months or something like that to decide, and if he doesn't decide by then he versus somebody else for the belt. But it's either Contender Series or the belt next.
Is the belt something you'd like to have just to tick that box and be like, I am the Cage Warriors World Champion? Because it has got some notoriety with it.
I was going to say that too, because you had mentioned that on the last one, that it was important to you. Like, it actually said it was important that you won the title, but I just wondered if that had shifted at all. Now that you've main evented Braehead, won, does it still feel like something you need?
It does. It's never felt like something I've needed, but it's something that would be pretty cool to have. If you look at, I think James, also, I think me winning the welterweight championship would break the record for coaches with the largest number of Cage Warriors champions. I think if I got the welterweight champion, that would give James the highest number of Cage Warriors champions in history. So it's gave me a wee bit more.
So there is a little extra something on it.
Just to give back a wee bit.
Are you on the page with the belts?
The page with the belts.
Oh
yeah.
You on that?
Yeah. I think you're on that now, aren't you?
Yeah.
He just got it. Yeah.
Know that it hurts, Kieran. I see you laughing there. Know that it hurts. Or when he makes the post about, and it's Stevie Ray and Danny Henry on the fighters poster, like, why not join the beginners class? Stevie Ray and Danny Henry. I'm like, I took my head. Did you see this? I took my head and posted it on both of their pictures. It's like, this one's better. Just a bit of a laugh.
Right, all right.
That'd
be cool.
He's training tonight.
No, we've already had 2 hard sessions. Yeah, 2 hard
Maybe
sessions.
fuel, get ready.
Exactly.
What have you got coming up, Stephen?
Well, there's a show August 9th that they want to get me on, but I've not got any matches yet. There's a few people that we're just waiting on getting back to me.
Who've got fights lined up already, haven't they?
Yeah, there's a few boys that have got fights, there's a few boys that don't have fights. I'm just whatever I can get. But I plan on in November, I really want to go to Abu Dhabi and do the IMAF World Championship, that tournament. And then after that, I think it would be sensible to look at going pro. But I want to get as much experience as I can. I want like 12 fights or even more.
But the issue you have is
finding somebody
is trying to find. That's why something like a tournament's really good, because it's boys from
they're already there.
Russia and all that that they don't know who you are. So it's like a tournament like that, because I could get like 4 fights in a week and I would be happy with that. I'd be very, very content with getting that and then going pro.
Good. It's, I'm sure the guys will be checking you up.
Well, you're doing all the right things, that's for sure.
Your path. But listen, we're going to go ourselves. Guys, hopefully we'll be speaking in a few days and it'll be about partying and it'll be about celebrating. As always, guys, keep it high.
See you soon. Thanks for coming on, boys.
Cheers. Thank you.